Hey everybody, it's Manicka and welcome to my channel where I help social workers, therapists, and helping professionals deepen their level of self-awareness and increase their competence and confidence in the profession. So for today's video, I wanted to talk about the 3 phases of professionalism within social work. So if you're interested in this topic, then please keep watching. I'm Manicka Thomas, the founder and clinical social worker at Kindred Connections Therapy Center. I've been a social worker for over 12 years. I decided to do an entire YouTube channel on my journey from cubicle working social worker to successful entrepreneur. Welcome to my channel. So I've not specifically mentioned this on my channel, but if you follow me on Instagram, I've mentioned it multiple times, and I think I have the post pinned on my IG account, so you can always check it out there. And by the way, if you're not following me on Instagram, I would love for you to follow me over there as well. So I'll just put up this post right here on Instagram where I talk about the 3 phases of professionalism. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to integrate the things that I talk about on IG and then also talk about those things on my YouTube channel, because I think it's important to give a broader context to the small snippets of information that I share on Instagram. So I talk a lot about navigating your social work career, and one of the things that I've wanted to do with my platform, with my mentoring, is I wanted to be able to provide a framework for social workers to be able to successfully navigate their career. Because one of the things that I found is, at least for me, when I was in my social work program, we absolutely did a careers in social work course. That was a part of the requirements for me to graduate, where we explored different career paths, and we also had to do an internship within our community to learn more about the work in the profession. So if you guys can put in the comments if any of you are enrolled in a BSW or MSW program, are they still offering careers in social work as part of the social work curriculum? I guess I could probably look online, but if you could put a comment and let me know if that's a part of your current curriculum. So even within the careers in social work course that I took, one of the things that we didn't do was to map out a career plan. So we were asked to explore different types of careers at the micro, meso, and macro level, but weren't really given a pathway to navigate our careers once we graduated. And I knew when I created my channel, that was exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to take the frustrations that I had when I first graduated, having a very difficult time to find a job when I graduated with my master's degree. I don't know if I ever told y'all this, but when I first graduated, it got so bad that I considered working at McDonald's, and this might be before some of y'all's time, but Blockbuster Video. Blockbuster Video was a very popular video store within most communities across the US, which is mostly all closed down except for one, I think. But yeah, I got so frustrated with not being able to find a job when I graduated with my master's degree. I started seeking careers outside of the profession and that were significantly lower paying. So I went to school for my bachelor's degree in Tennessee, and then I went for my master's degree in Columbus. So I went to The Ohio State University for my master's degree, and I did a specialization in school social work. But I wasn't intending to live in Columbus. My plan was to come back to my hometown and then find a career there. So I didn't have any connection. I didn't know anyone who was in the profession. I had no links that connected the education that I got from my undergrad and graduate degree to the organizations in the community who was doing the work that I want to do. And mind you, I did a specialization in school social work. So my goal was to be able to work in schools. I had no clue that Columbus had school social workers within their local community, but my community, they didn't offer school social work within our school district. So now I had a master's degree that I spent all this time acquiring. I couldn't use my specialization, and I had no clue what I was supposed to do from there. So at that time, I went to a local job fair. I met someone there. They were hiring for ongoing caseworkers at Children's Services, and that's literally how I got my first job after grad school. She and I hit it off at the job fair. I gave her my resume. I went in for an interview, and I got the job. And although I had took a child welfare course in undergrad as part of my coursework, I never really had a desire to do that work as part of my career. So I was literally doing it because I didn't have anything else that was available. So I'm saying all that to say, if you don't have a clear roadmap to know where you're going and what you want to do, or maybe you do an internship like I did in one city in one state, and then you move and go back to your hometown, and then those opportunities aren't available, sometimes it can feel like all the work that you put in acquiring your degree was a waste. So I wanted to be able to use my experience navigating my career to help you find a clear path to be able to navigate yours. Because I know if I experienced that, there had to be other social workers out there who were experiencing the same thing. And once I've built this channel and my website and my email list, I've been able to communicate with so many of you. I'm finding that it's absolutely happening to all of you the same way it happened to me. So because we're not taught how to create a clear path from degree to employment, I wanted to outline what that can look like for you, even if you're not considering licensure. And normally we're given that traditional framework. You can work at a micro level, a meso level, and a macro level. But there's so much more to social work than micro, meso, and macro. But because that's where we start, my idea was if someone wants to navigate within that framework, micro, meso, macro, that should absolutely be a path for them to do that. But then there should also be these other paths for people who've worked in that realm for so long and they're ready to transition into something else. So the 3 phases of professionalism that I created based off of my experience were the career phase, the scaffolding phase, and the social work CEO phase. I kind of go back and forth between CEO and social work CEO and social work entrepreneur, but the idea is you're working for yourself. So let's break down the 3 phases of professionalism, and I want you to tell me in the comments where you are now and what your goal is in terms of a transition. Where do you see yourself in the next 5, 10, 15 years? What's that transition look like for you? So first is the career phase. So the career phase is again where you're working at that micro, meso, and macro level of social work practice, and you're working a traditional 9 to 5. You have the benefits, you have the salary, and you're working in that traditional corporate structure. That's oftentimes where many of us start when we first graduate from college. There's nothing wrong with that. That's ideally the path that you want to take, is you graduate and you're able to get a job. That's what we want. But what we're finding is sometimes within that framework, those 3 tiers, that there's a lot of red tape, there's a lot of bureaucracy. We're not able to offer the level and types of programming that we want. We don't serve the population in the way that we want to do it, or we've developed a depth of knowledge to where we're ready to step out on our own. We're ready to do our own thing. In that next phase, when you transition out of that career phase, that 9 to 5, then the next phase is the scaffolding phase. The scaffolding phase is where you've decided and you've made the commitment, I'm going to build something for myself. This is when you either start your side hustle, meaning you're doing your traditional 9 to 5, and then you're doing something on the side, such as coaching or consulting or speaking or teaching, whatever the thing is that you're doing outside of your 9 to 5, that's when you're in the scaffolding phase. So you can absolutely do your 9 to 5 and scaffolding, and then that be your career path. So maybe you don't want to leave your 9 to 5. Maybe you want the security of having the income, the paycheck coming in every 2 weeks, which is understandable. You have family, you have priorities. So you can absolutely do both of those things, where you have your side hustle or your work on the side and you're just bringing in additional income. But if you decide, I feel like I can go all in on this, like I think that I could take this to the next level and this can be the thing that I can do for my career. So the next phase is the social work CEO phase, or the social work entrepreneur phase. That's when you're working full-time 100% in your own practice or running your own business based off of your knowledge, your skills, and your expertise. So currently what we don't have within the social work profession is how we can take those leaps between those 3 phases. We either have a framework that shows you how to ascend from micro to meso to macro, which is great, we need that, but we don't have something that shows you how to transition out of that career phase to the scaffolding phase and then to the social work CEO phase. And that's what this framework is designed to do. It's designed to give you a clear path, not an ascension up. into your career, but a path forward if you don't want to stay in that 9 to 5 and you want to move out of that and start teaching what you know. And I'm very passionate about that because I think it transforms the way that we see ourselves as social workers. We don't see just these vertical transitions that we can make in our careers, or these vertical ascensions that we can make as far as a promotion or getting to a macro level job. That's not the only way to have success within your social work career. What I wanted to do is I wanted to not only show you the vertical leaps that you can make, I wanted to show you that horizontal jump that you can make if that was your desire. And there's no right or wrong answer. This is about you navigating your career and deciding how do you want to use your expertise to serve the population that matters to you and to bring value to the world. I didn't know when I was in the career phase that I wanted to be in the CEO phase, but I knew that I could do the scaffolding phase. And I'll tell you how I knew. I was working in the career phase as a family support specialist for a Head Start program. And they would bring these trainers in to train us about family dynamics, how to create better outcomes for preschool youth, how to provide case management for preschool families. And it was a trainer who came in and she had her own business and she was training us, the staff, on how to do our jobs better, how to serve the families better. And I said, I can do that. Like, her being up and wasn't affiliated with our agency or our organization whatsoever, just an outside expert that they brought in to train us on how to do our jobs. That is when I made the decision to start my own consulting company, because I said, how is it that I'm sitting here as an employee, but she's using her expertise to be able to come in and teach us to do our jobs? So that changed everything for me. Now, I had no clue how I was going to navigate it, how you make money, how you get those types of contracts, how you make that sustainable. I didn't know that part, but I knew that there was a path outside of the career phase. So that's all I really want you to think about. I want you to consider where you are. Most of you might be in the career phase, but look around, see what opportunities are available. Who's coming in to train you? What conferences are you being sent to? What continuing education are you being asked to complete? Who's designing that continuing education for your company? What learning management systems are you using? Who's creating your policies and procedures? So really begin to look and use a different lens if you know your goal is not to stay in that career phase. Again, it doesn't have to be this vertical ascension that you do from micro to macro. That's not the only path. So I want you to think not only about that opportunity, but what are the opportunities outside of that to move into the scaffolding phase, and then from scaffolding to move to the social work CEO phase. And one of the things that I want to point out about the social work CEO phase is we need to start expanding the conversation about what's happening online. We have teachers, we have doctors, we have so many other professions who are learning how to monetize their expertise online, and they're increasing their income. We have people coming into our profession who don't have our degree or our licensure, and they know how to market themselves to be coaches and consultants and to build a community that pays them to teach what they know. I believe that we as social workers should be at the forefront of a lot of those opportunities to teach what we know and to make money online. I just think we need the infrastructure, the system, and the process to know how to do it. And that was the reason why I built this framework of showing you how to transition between those 3 phases. So make sure you tell me in the comments where you are currently and where you want to be. And if you want to share your story with me about how you're struggling to transition through those 3 phases, I totally get it. And I understand that was the reason why I created this framework for our profession. So I want you to know that this is something that I'm going to continue to talk about and to integrate into my channel because I really want us to start expanding the conversation outside of that career phase. There's so much more out there for us. There's so much more we can do. There's so much of a greater impact that we can have. And it doesn't have to be within the confines of a 9-to-5 job or a macro level job or a micro level job. You have the ability to design the career that you want and to teach what you know. You just have to have the framework to do it. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please like, subscribe, and share. I'll be releasing more videos to help you deepen your level of self-awareness and to increase your competence and confidence in the profession. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, be well.